Hello. So I want to talk about the difference between intuition, instinct, and impulse. I see a lot of people using these terms interchangeably for the most part, but there are some clear distinctions in the usage of these terms. And language is really, really important because it kind of sets the tone for how we respond to situations in our life. So just want to take a moment to talk about this today. So both instinct and impulse, I place those two words in what I call survival category. The reason for that is when we talk about impulse, it's an impulse which represents an unconscious action to move towards something. And when we are moving towards something, it's more with this intention of wanting to satisfy something in a very impulsive manner, some need within us in a very impulsive manner. So that's an instinct to move towards something, rather an impulse to move towards something. The next piece is an instinct. An instinct is usually something we avoid. So when we are in the state of avoidance, what we're really doing is protecting ourselves. So there is a perception that something is dangerous out there, and so we protect ourselves, and that is an impulse to avoid. So typically when we look at the stress mechanisms in our physiology and psychology, an impulse is about us moving towards something to satisfy an emotional or physical hunger. An instinct is to avoid something so that we do not become prey. So the first one is more about us being in predator mode, feeling strong, enough to go and get our hunger satiated. The second one, which is the instinct to avoid, is more about us not getting eaten. So in a predatory sense or in a primal sense, it's about us avoiding being eaten. So we have this avoidance within us. So these two are very distinct in that they are definitely showing us that we are in survival mode when we use the language of instinct and impulse. Intuition, on the other hand, is really about us coming into a state of being where neither of these are present, but instead what is present is a greater reasoning, a greater understanding, a greater cognition, which puts us more in the executive brain, in our forebrain, where we are actually able to reason, rationalize, be objective and unbiased in evaluating a situation. So in one, we are in the world of survival, we're emotionally skewed because we are put in a survival mode, in instinct and impulse. And when we are more in a state of thriving, a state of thrival, we are operating from our executive or forebrain. And in this state, our intuition is firing off. So we have the ability to be very objective and rational when we make decisions in that mode. When we are in survival mode, because of the dangers of not surviving, we're going to make decisions that are going to be purely based on survival and not based on thriving necessarily. So I want to differentiate this because when we use language that is coherent with our inner energies, and we speak of instinct and impulse, that is a language of survival, whereas when we talk about thriving, we are functioning in our intuition, so we're not in our survival mode. Have a beautiful day.